Something I find very interesting in today's sexual marketplace and how it works is how absolutely clueless people are about how much men in the friend zone and women who are in the bleep friend zone actually have in common. These women are otherwise known as plates. And for those of you who are unfamiliar with the term plate, a plate is a woman in a man's rotation of multiple women that he is dating non-exclusively. A man who spins plates is a man smashing multiple girls, and the girls are referred to in this community as a plate or plates. Now, plates are not generally thought of as long-term relationship material. I've made a few plates my girlfriends in the past, but most of them never really elevate past plate status. Anyway, these two situations are almost identical, but almost nobody realizes it. The guy stuck in the friend zone wants to smash the girl he's been friend zoned by, and the girl who is a plate wants a relationship with the guy she's been plated by. The guy in the friend zone gets all of her non-sexual attention, while the plate gets nothing but sexual attention from her smash buddy. Neither wants to be where they are, and they both want what the other has. You see, the guy can get all of the non-sexual female companionship he wants. That's easy for him. He doesn't even have to try because, well, girls are always looking for men they can get all the benefits of having a relationship with without actually being in one. In other words, without smashing or putting out. Any given guy can be up to his eyeballs in platonic relationships with females, and because of that, non-sexual female companionship isn't really worth that much to him. It's the sex he wants from the girl and not the companionship. Now, the girl can get all the sausage she wants. That's easy for her. She doesn't even have to try because men are always looking for girls they can get easy sex out of without having to commit to a relationship. Any given female can be up to her eyeballs in sausage, and because of that, sex isn't really worth much to her. It's the commitment she wants from the guy, not the sex, which again, she already has in spades. There's a pervasive saying in this community that states that women are the gatekeepers of sex and men are the gatekeepers of relationships. Now, one could make the argument that young, beautiful women are the gatekeepers of both, albeit for a very short period of time, and Rollo Tomasi has made that argument before. But outside of the finite time when hot young girls have the world at their feet, the gift of a man is commitment, the gift of a female is sex. Why do we know this? Because neither values that which they are the gatekeepers to as much as what it is the other sex is the gatekeeper to. We as men, we're the gatekeepers of commitment because it's what women want the most from us. Women will move heaven and earth, and they will make bad decisions to secure commitment from us, whether it's exclusivity, shared residence, or marriage. Not to say that we as men don't value commitment, but when we can have a girlfriend or at least a female companion, whether it's sexual in nature or not, we don't really place as much value on commitment as women because it's what they want the most. Supply and demand, right? Hell, even guys in this community don't make a big deal out of commitment because every girl we bang for more than a week wants a relationship. We get thrown at us all the time. We have an abundance of commitment and companionship and can get it anytime we want. And this is actually RP guys. This is RP guys, this is incels, blue pill guys. Every one of us can have female companionship anytime we want. Now, obviously, sapphire tablet guys and incels are going to have the non-sexual companionship, and guys like myself are going to make sure that they're getting the peace leave. But the point is that as men, we can get commitment and companionship whether sex is involved or not. Women are the gatekeepers of sex because it's what we want the most from them. Sex isn't nearly as important to them as it is to us because it's what we want the most. I use this example to point out the fact that the asymmetries of sexual attraction are all around us, and this is one of just many examples. Another example is the phenomenon of incels. Incel is short for involuntary celibate. It's defined as a man who wants to have sex but can't. Now, their exploits have been well documented over the years with guys like Elliot Rodger, Alec Manassian, and so forth, so we are all familiar with who they are. But what most people have failed to realize is that incels and girls who sleep around outside of anatomical differences are identical. Now, what I mean by that is that they live very different existences, but their circumstances and mindsets are a lot alike. Hoes and incels have much more in common with one another than either is willing to admit or realize, and that's what I'm going to talk about in today's video. I'm going to give you 5 things that men who can't get sex and women who can get sex anytime they want have in common. And as a side note, when I talk about incels, I'm not only referring to them. I'm also talking about low-level MGTOWs who famously and pathetically pretend that they could get women if they wanted to but have chosen. A lot of these guys like to call themselves monks. Some of these guys actually refer to themselves as MGTOWs, and some guys combine the two and call themselves MGTOW monks. But whatever they call themselves, we know the truth here in this community. All of these guys are involuntary celibates masquerading as MGTOWs. These guys aren't fooling anyone. Before I get into it, guys, do your boy a solid. Push me up in the algorithm by liking, comment, subscribing, and sharing the video. If you guys could take just a few seconds to help me out, I'd really appreciate that. Also, if you want to be notified when I go live, download the Sharpe Stream app and make sure you enable push notifications. Don't worry, I'm not going to blow you up. It's just that the YouTube notifications have been a little bit wonky lately, and I'm being told that none of my subscribers are getting notified when I go live or put out a video. So make sure you get your hands on my app to stay in the know. It's available for Android or iOS. Okay, here we go. The 5 things that incels and hoes have in common. Number 1, they are never accountable for their actions and circumstances. Other than the fact that they can't get laid, complaining is one of the most obvious telltale signs of an incel. Incels are always complaining about how difficult girls are, how bitchy they are. They bitch and moan about the impossibly high standards of today's women and so forth. The complaining gives them an excuse to check out of the dating market. Then when people ask them why they haven't had a girlfriend or at least a short-term fling with a female, they can fall back on these crappy excuses. Bitches are so freaking rude, they're difficult, they don't want anything but hot rich guys. This is why I always push back on guys who say things like, well, money and looks is all you need. That's a lazy and defeatist attitude. Yes, money and looks can help you get in the door, but it's your ability to handle women like we teach you to handle them here in this sector of the web that keeps them around. Rich guys and hot guys get cheated on just like everybody else, guys. Incels and black pill guys use this as an excuse to play video games, masturbate to cartoon prawn, and eat Cheetos all day long rather than going out and kicking life's ass. They say to themselves, well, if girls cheat on rich guys and hot guys, then there's really no need to even try. They pretend to want a guarantee of a successful relationship that is without infidelity on her side. Incels blame everyone but themselves for what they are. They pretend to want the guarantee of a successful relationship that guarantees the girl will never cheat. Incels blame everyone but themselves for what they are. Girls only want hot, rich guys. I wasn't born with great looks. I'm short. I don't have good looks. I've tried everything and nothing works, and so on and so forth. But what these guys are not telling you, or themselves for that matter, is that the reason why they're not successful with women is because they are unwilling to do what's necessary to be attractive to attractive women. They're not lifting weights, they're not eating clean, they're not saving their money, they're not learning how to handle today's women effectively, and they're not driven or motivated. Now, a lot of low-level MGTOWs would say something like, well, I don't do anything to impress women. And to that, I say you're full of shit. You say you don't do anything to impress women now, but before, your life was all about women. And when they didn't reciprocate your interest, you decided to indirectly base your current lifestyle around women. You didn't become a MGTOW or a MGTOW monk because you just woke up one day and decided you wanted to live a life completely devoid of female companionship. No, they're the ones who make daily decisions based solely on what women are or aren't doing. Let's take a look at hoes. It is well documented that hoes never take responsibility for their circumstances. I'm a single mom because my baby daddies ain't shit. No, you're a single mother because you have unprotected sex with random men. I cheated on my boyfriend because he wasn't attentive to my needs. No, you cheated because Kevin in the sales department told you that you were soulmates and your dumbass believed him. Guys don't want to be with me because I'm just too strong for them. No, guys don't want to be with you because you have a tramp stamp, a lip ring, and he found out you're still on Tinder, where he met you the first time. My man doesn't trust me because he's insecure. No, your man doesn't trust you because you still text your ex, you're at the club every other Saturday night, and half the time he calls you, it goes straight to voicemail. Most women are notorious blame shifters, but hoes are experts at it. Other than a bad mom, the worst thing you can call a woman is a hoe. Girls know that being a hoe is easy. That's why they do their level best to make sure people don't know they're smashing dudes by the dozen. Hoes in their 30s and 40s blame everything and everything for the reason they're still single. Men ain't shit. Men are intimidated by my intelligence. Men can't handle a strong and independent woman. Men need to man up and date single moms. The list goes on and on. Any woman over the age of 25 who isn't married yet has only herself to blame. Smash enough dudes and at some point you're not going to be good for anything but smashing. That's all there is to it. They can blame whoever or whatever they want to, but deep down, they know the score. The bottom line here is that hoes and incels are where they are because of their decisions. But they're both hell-bent on trying to convince everyone that it's not their fault that they get no peace leave or that they get too much sausage. Number 2, They're lazy, but think they deserve everything. A huge problem that I have with low-level MGTOWs and incels who bitch and moan about what's fair and what's not is the fact that they think that they deserve female companionship. Sexual female companionship. A huge problem I have with low-level MGTOWs and incels who bitch and moan about what's fair and what's not is the fact that they think they deserve sexual female companionship simply because they were born with a cock and balls. I am a man, therefore I am entitled to sexual favors from females. They believe that it shouldn't matter that they're unmotivated, or that they lack discipline to get into and stay into shape, or exercise financial prudence, or are steadfast in their belief system. And anything they see or hear that holds them accountable for their station in life and the reason or reasons they need to improve themselves to get the outcomes with females they want, and anything they see or hear that holds them accountable for their station in life and the reason or reasons they need to improve themselves to get the outcomes with the females they want, they always push back. They say we're full of crap. Well, they clearly understand by now that it doesn't work this way. But that does not stop them from believing that they deserve a woman by virtue of being born with a Y chromosome. Hoes have that exact same mindset. They believe that because they are women, that they deserve the best men out there. They believe that they deserve a guy with underwear model looks, who's 6'3", 235 pounds, who's ripped, square jaw, 5 o'clock shadow, who makes six figures, has six-pack abs, and a 6-foot dick, even though she's overweight and has taken sausages into the triple figures. And hoes are even more delusional because the world reinforces this flawed thinking. Television, movies, media, social media, advertisements, they're all constantly telling women that beauty comes in all shapes and sizes. Except, of course, for men. Well, why doesn't it apply to men? Because, well, it just doesn't, okay? Even though they see it doesn't really work that way, they still foolishly believe that Hugh Jackman's wife is the rule and not the exception. But here is where the mindsets of incels and hoes are dissimilarly identical. I know that doesn't make sense right now, but stay with me here. Men are made and women are born. What this means is that when a male is born, there are things that he needs to do and become in order to be viewed as a man by most people, most notably women. Incels rarely possess even the most basic masculine traits. No, I'm not talking about beards or tattoos or criminal records, although a combination of those will definitely get you plenty of attention from attractive women. But I'm talking about the ability to change a tire, the ability to defend himself in the event of a physical confrontation, the ability to speak with confidence and conviction to both men and women, basic masculine characteristics. The thing is males aren't born with these abilities. We have to learn them, we have to develop them, we have to cultivate them, and we have to navigate them through life. These things don't just magically appear because we were born as males. We have to make ourselves into men. We have to lift weights. We have to learn and cultivate skills that allow us to make money, exercise financial discipline, learn to fight. All of these things require a proactive approach. We don't just sit in a chair and learn Kung Fu in 10 seconds like Neo. We don't build physical strength by just sitting around and waiting for our muscles to grow. No, we have to go to the gym. We have to go to jiu-jitsu. We have to proactively learn how to be good with money. We don't have the luxury of just sitting around and growing into men. We have to proactively build ourselves into men. And I'm not here to complain about it. It is what it is. Women, on the other hand, do have the luxury of simply just existing and growing into women. You see, females don't have to do really much of anything to become women. They don't really have to go to the gym to become sexually attractive, because all they really have to do is not eat junk every day, and their bodies will be better than most women out there. In order to stay a viable option for a long-term relationship and possibly marriage, all they have to do is not jump on the carousel and rack up a triple-digit notch count before they're old enough to drink. All females have to do is not fall asleep at the wheel and they're golden. By simply refraining from junk food and sex, females simply grow into the kind of woman who can have just about any man she wants, which brings us back to incels and hoes. Hoes proactively mess up their womanhood and femininity, and incels sit around and do nothing to build and cultivate masculinity and manhood. And get this, neither understands why they aren't getting the outcomes they want with the opposite sex. It's not easy for women to refrain from smashing a bunch of guys or eating junk all the time. It's not easy for a man to build himself into the kind of man that attractive women are attracted to. But hoes and incels still believe that they deserve what's difficult to attain by doing what's easy. It's easy to be a hoe and it's easy to be an incel, and I'll have more on this later. but for reasons known only to them. They bitch and moan about not having what is difficult to get and maintain, which is commitment from men of value and regular exclusive sex from attractive women. Incels and hoes both believe they are entitled to the very best of what the opposite sex has to offer by virtue of being born a man or a woman, and that's not how it works. Number 3, they hate on those who have what they want. Those of you who have followed me over the years, you guys know I've had my share of haters. Now, this doesn't make me special because a lot of guys who do what I do have haters and trolls. But what those haters and trolls all have in common is that they want what we have. Whether these guys admit it or not, they want our lives, or at least certain elements of our lives. Using myself as an example, I've had great success with women. I got to live the fast, crazy, hangover Vegas lifestyle without any serious consequences like STDs or children that I know of. I got to seamlessly transition to the next stage of my life by making a great living doing what I'm good at and what I love to do. I work for myself, which means no time clock, no boss, or any of the other BS that comes from a 9 to 5. I'm dialing in my weightlifting and meal planning regimen, and I'll be in the best shape of my life in a few short months. I've never been more attractive, and I'm in what appears to be a solid relationship with an attractive, helpful woman who loves and respects me. A lot of guys want what I have, and the ones who want it the most but are the least willing to work for it are always the loudest trolls. They talk junk about me all the time because they want to be me, but they either can't or won't do what needs to be done to be who I am and what I do. Guys like Real Brother Radio, who a while back called my show and talked about how Devin's body makes him throw up, when in actuality, he's probably going to my social media feeds and putting her pictures in his spank bank. Now, the women who troll me are so transparent it is comedically tragic. They tell me I'm ugly, they say Devin's got a flat ass, Devin's trashy, they say things like black women dodged a bullet with this one, blah blah blah. But these women troll me because they want me. Their uteri are aching for my semen so badly it is literally coming out of their pores, and that desire manifests itself in the form of trolling me when all they really want is my attention, and I can't blame them for that. Okay, Donovan, male haters want to be you and female haters want to smash. But what's that got to do with incels and hoes? Well, I'm glad you asked. Incels like to call men like myself peace leave beggars. A lot of other creators like to call us cucks. And off the topic here, just very quickly, cucks is an overused term in this space. Half the guys using it don't know what it means, or that cuck is short for cuckold. Anyway, these knuckleheads want us to believe that they don't want sex from women. They want us to believe that they don't want sexual relationships with women at all. They want us to believe that they believe that pursuing women is something they don't want. They actually think that because they shame us, then we must believe that they must not want women. But incels and low-level MGTOWs want women the most. This is why they're angry. They're angry because they can't have what they covet more than anything else in the world. And that thinly veiled facade that they put up to make the world think that they're actually happy being in a relationship with sex dolls, or happy masturbating to cartoon prawn, or happy paying OnlyFans girls for feet pics or to show maybe the top half of her nipples, isn't fooling anyone. Incels shame men like us because they want what we have, and that is the adoration and sexual availability of attractive women, and they can't stand it. What a douchebag, I'd never get a tattoo like that. He's too muscular, he looks weird, he's probably on steroids. All his girlfriends are dumb blondes with fake boobs. No thank you. Now, on the other side of that equation, hoes just love to make fun of housewives and stay-at-home moms. They say things like, boy, I'll bet she's miserable staying at home all the time, or she's oppressed. Here's another one, I'd never want to submit to a man. Being a stay-at-home mom is overrated. The interesting thing is that married women who are stay-at-home moms rarely catch any hate from young women. Why? Because young women are having the time of their lives. Why would they care about what other women are doing if they're busy having a good time themselves? Well, it's the same reason why we can say with 100% certainty that men who troll me just aren't happy with their lives. Me personally, I've never felt the need to talk trash about men who are more successful than I am because I'm successful in my own right and I live a great life. Anyway, young women don't shame stay-at-home moms, but older women do. And the reason they do is because they want that life. They know they can't have it. They know they pissed away their lives drinking and hoeing around, and they know that men of value don't want to start families with 37-year-old smokers who are on anti-anxiety meds to deal with their 2 Noit-Roba spelled backwards and the 15 times they've been Depar spelled backwards. So what they do to cope with the fact that they'll never have what they really want is they pretend that they don't want it and poke fun at people who have it. Ha ha ha. Look at Sandra. She got married at 20 years old and she was still young and beautiful to a man nearly twice her age. She has 3 kids and stays at home because her husband makes enough to take care of her family. Okay, so he's really good looking and he makes good money, but I would never want to tie myself down at that age. I feel sorry for Sandra. The young women who are saying this, it's always the women in their 30s and 40s who are trying to convince us that they're happy being alone, that they're happy not being taken seriously by men of value. They're trying to convince us that they're happy getting passed around. They're trying to convince us that they'd rather live the lives they have rather than the lives that stay-at-home moms have. But deep down, they know they'd trade places with Sandra if they could tomorrow. And don't kid yourself, they want that life. Just because she says it on social media doesn't make it true. Women like this want more than anything to belong to a man of value and to bear as many children as he wants. But she knows that's never going to happen. So in order to cope with the fact that she will never be loved by the kind of men she had plenty of opportunities with in the past, she makes fun of the kind of women she wants to be to cover up the fact that she cries herself to sleep every night because men don't spend the night after beating her brakes off anymore. You know, like they used to back when she was in her 20s. Now, incels, they want sexual companionship from women every bit as much as hoes want commitment from men of value. Neither can have it, so both make fun of it to keep up appearances. Number 4, their lives are easy. I got news for you. Being an incel is easy, guys. It requires 0 effort. You don't have to get into and stay in shape. You don't have to watch your diet. You don't have to exercise financial shrewdness. You don't have to have drive and determination. You don't have to do any of that stuff. All it takes to be an incel is wake up. It's an easy life. Now, granted, the mental anguish that comes with not talking to pretty girls when your dick responds kind of haunts you, but all of that goes away when you fire up the laptop for some old chicken choking fun, which is also very easy. Guys, it's important to never forget that there will always be far more low-level MGTOWs and black pill guys who endorse giving up and exiting the sexual marketplace completely than guys like us who preach self-improvement on all levels, which includes the pursuit of and subsequent conquering of women. And the reason for this is that it's a much easier life. You want to know what else is easy? Being a hoe. In fact, I would contend that being a hoe is even easier than being an incel. Girls are bombarded with sausage 24/7. When she walks out the door, she's getting hit in the face with sausage. Sausage all over the place. On her way to work, dudes are throwing sausage at her. On her way home, more sausage. And when she's safely in the confines of her own home and she opens her phone, sausages are flying out of her phone and hitting her in her face. Hell, even when she's asleep. If being an incel is easy, then being a hoe is effortless. Hoes these days can easily rack up double digits in a calendar week, and they can probably sandbag the last couple days. It takes absolutely 0 effort to be a hoe. Just be a female and be willing. That's it. You don't even have to be a woman. You don't have to be feminine or kind. You don't even have to dress like a woman. You could go out in sweats, a baggy shirt, have your hair pulled back like you just woke up, and dudes are still gonna holler. Any female, and I mean any female, can smash as many dudes as she wants with little to no effort. Both incels and hoes have extremely easy and carefree lives. Familiarity breeds contempt, which explains why hoes and incels literally hate each other. Thanks for watching.